Oh, good. Then we should bring on back Fantasy Talk because that's the one who complains about it.
I was going to tell you that they could hear you, but
What's up, team? What's my hair doing?
can you hear us, guys? Excellent. Hey, Vardy.
Bards in the house, in his use.
All right. Should we kick this off?
Yep. Welcome. Glorious victory. Yoo-hoo!
Could get used to that.
Oh my God, what a night. What a game. Oh my God. Here we crow, episode 123. It's happening right now. Thanks for joining us tonight. Hello, everyone in the YouTube chat. Hello, Sam.
Hello, Lauren.
Hello, Ben.
Howdy, Lauren.
It's a small little team tonight.
It is, yeah.
No Dan and no special guest host, unfortunately, but that's all right. We can get through this. I think we'll be fine.
I think so.
Yes.
Some positivity tonight.
Only positivity tonight, I think. Only positivity. Even Crowcast were positive
I know,
yesterday.
I listened. Yeah.
I got through the whole episode.
No, they were.
Not a shred of negativity.
No,
I say we roll with that.
yeah.
It is episode 123, and we will obviously be reviewing the demolition of the Swans on Saturday night at the SCG. Absolutely incredible game from the Crows. We're going to talk a bit of trade goss, AFL happenings. Things are happening around.
The merry-go-round.
Yeah, we'll talk a bit about that. We're going to hear from you also, and Sam's back with the bin.
I'm back.
Back with the bin. Heaps of stuff to put in the bin this week too. But before we continue, obviously we've got our stats man ready. Ben.
I'm the stat man.
That's right. Episode 123. That game was as easy as ABC. So. All right. So debut player for 123. Someone we've actually heard of.
Who's this?
James Gallagher.
Oh,
nice.
we know him.
That's right. Played 38 games, 2001 to 2004. Bit of a small midfielder. Managed only the 38 games with us over 4 years. He played 228 games with Norwood. Eventually became their captain. I think he was their club champ in 2007. After football, he worked in professional banking as opposed to amateur banking. I'm not sure.
What does that mean?
I don't know, but that was what it was
High-end
described
banking.
as. Yeah,
Executive banking.
banking that we probably aren't involved in at all.
Don't have enough money.
No. It's like those Macquarie, I bank with Macquarie because I'm good enough.
Oh,
I've looked into that.
I actually do bank with Macquarie.
Oh, so you are good enough.
I reckon I've looked into this professional banking because I was trying to decide which bank I'd go with when I won the 100 million in the Powerball.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's good dreaming.
Yeah. Well, you've got to be organised. I was also looking at castles in Scotland.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Well, after his banking, he went to St Kilda. He was there 18 to 22 as their list manager. So moved back to SA and a bit outshone by one young Barmy, but he is also now a Crows board member.
Everyone was happy when his name came up, I think.
Yeah.
Alongside Neil's, of course.
Yeah, well, you can never have enough professional banking experience on your board. So.
Vardy said he's a beautiful kick too.
Good. Well, that'll help on the board. Good. All right. Now we are getting to the swan song of our who remembers way back when to the 2023 season.
Ooh,
So,
I'll still get them wrong.
Yeah, me too.
so yeah, this is where you're starting to get a bit negligent with not knowing some of these answers. But do we remember where we finished?
2023. It wasn't good.
Oh,
it
is
was
that
the
when-
spoon
was it
year,
ninth?
wasn't it?
Ninth?
It wasn't 9th.
No, that
10th.
wasn't the spoon
It
year.
was 10th.
Yeah, it was when we just missed out, remember?
Oh, of course.
23, yep. Yep.
Oh, we
Club
didn't
champ.
miss out.
Yep.
I wish it was the spoon, honestly.
Club champ.
Oh, yeah, how do I not remember this?
Jordan Dawson?
It was Dawson.
Oh, yeah,
yes.
of course it was.
Yep. Goal kicker.
Tex.
Yep. So 76 goals in 2023.
Yeah, right.
How about that?
Yeah, that's
Not
pretty
bad.
good.
Very impressive.
He was fantastic that
He-
year.
Oh, yeah,
that
he
was
started
the-
off, didn't he? Like a
Yeah, and
He
then
was
he had
rabid.
the last game against West Coast where he kicked like
Kicked
10.
10
or something
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
have the lead for about half a game until who won it that year?
Jeremy Cameron.
Might have been one of
Maybe.
those. One of those
Or
guys.
Hogan.
They got
think-
a couple of goals.
I thought it
Hogan was last year.
Kerno or Hogan?
Might have been Kerno.
Was it
I'm
Kern?
not sure.
Yeah, maybe.
I reckon it was just Kerno because it was.
I think it was Kerno because he got about 80 of them were
Oh, yeah.
free kicks.
Vardy has confirmed it was
It was
Kerno.
Kerno.
Yeah.
Free kick for Kerno. So interesting to me facts. Well, it's 2 years ago, getting a bit to the end of giving you much out of this, but it was the Sydney point that was not a point game.
Well, at
Oh,
least
was-
we've come over that hurdle
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Feels good now.
It did seem like that sort of, the following year, like Alex Neil-Bullen had a press conference today and he sort of alluded to the fact that maybe the effect of that where we were maybe a little too focused on where we're going to be getting to or what should have been the previous year, whereas this year we have got our eye on every week as opposed to looking too far ahead or feeling a bit jaded about last year. So
For sure.
He talks like an AI bot, that guy. Have you listened to him?
I love it. I love it.
No, I'm not saying it's
Yeah.
bad, but the way that he talks and the way that he's got, like, it's almost, he talks with perfect grammar every time.
Yeah.
It's really quite,
It's like he's
almost
got
off-putting.
everything. He's got the script up here,
Yeah.
but he's like an actor. He's working off the script, but
Yeah.
he's not following the script exactly.
Yeah.
You know,
'Cause he's like, I
it's perfect.
and we did this, and I'm going to tell you an example, and that example is this. It's like all very
He's done
well
a few
like,
job interviews in his time.
now, so 1, 2, 3 stats though for players. So I've got 1 current player and 3 you may not have thought about for a while. So
Okay.
Brodie Smith, topical.
Yep.
He's had 123 frees for.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know how many against. Now, a few players from Blast from the Past. Brian Binky.
Binky.
Yeah. He had 123 uncontested possessions. Anthony Ingerson,
Oh yeah, I remember that name.
123 hitouts. Richard Tambling, 123 handballs. So
Right.
how about that?
Sturt legend.
Tambling, is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's where he went back to.
I thought he was a Richmond legend, but sure.
Not sure he was a legend anywhere, to be fair.
Not sure. So now the ladies. So 2023 for the women.
Oh, sorry, that was a question.
Third.
Yep. So minor round we were first, but in the end we finished third. So minor round we were 9 wins, 1 loss. But then first final we had the 2-point loss against Brisbane. Then we came back. I think it was just me and you, Lauren, that maybe, or I don't know if Dan was there, but it was the 67-point smashing of Sydney in that second final. Mm-hmm. And then in the prelim, we lost by 1 point to North. So tight and just didn't quite make it. But there you go. Club champ,
Hatchie.
Marinoff.
he was Marinoff. Goal kicker,
Caitlin Gould.
Gould.
Ponta.
Oh,
Ponta got 20, beat Gould by 1 goal. She had
we
19.
were close.
Yeah, well, I didn't ask for close. I asked for the actual. So. Yeah.
He's very touchy tonight, isn't he? Is he hungry?
No, I did have some food, so I'm all right. Now for the draft. So pick
Now for
8.
Draft. What?
Pick 8
Yeah.
in the 2023
Shelley.
draft. No, we've had Michelle.
Dan Curtin.
Oh,
This was
Oh,
curtain.
curtain,
This was
yeah,
curtain
yeah.
time. This was our very exciting night. We're like, oh, are we going to trade back in? Are we going to get curtain? And
Well, we didn't really know who we were going for, did we? Like,
Well,
it
there
was
was
kind
all
of a
these.
bit up in the air.
It came out very late that he was going to be an option, and we made our way to get it. So it's very exciting at the time, and at the moment he's starting to show some of that promise. So it's really good.
He's been fantastic.
Then we've got 2 untried players in Edwards and Ryan, and there's a fair
Who
bit
are they?
fair bit of chatter about they'd like a bit of a debut. Then we rookied Will Hamill and we rookied James Borlase. So there you go. So that is the stats for 1, 2, 3. Quick out of order shout out for your goods section.
Oh, I want to veto this.
Bring in an early good. No, it's okay. Just let him do it.
So the goods is I've got a son now who has great enthusiasm to make waffles on a Saturday or Sunday morning.
Right.
What about before a podcast, Ben? Do you reckon Henry would make some waffles before a podcast?
Which
I
son?
think so.
Yeah. Yeah, we are talking about Henry, right?
It is the older one. So yeah, but no, and I'm not saying you say, oh, this kid made waffles. Yeah, he flipped it once or twice. I'm talking about from scratch.
Right.
He finds the ingredients. It's not a mix of anything. From scratch. Entire thing.
What's brought this on? Did you buy a waffle maker?
Oh, that was a birthday present for him about 3 years ago, but he's just found some enthusiasm again for it.
Oh,
You just
good.
set up a stall out the
They're
front.
very good, good, and and even on Sunday, geez, we might get I don't know how much I should say on air in terms of being reported, but he was making waffles and watching the baby
Right.
while we had a slight sleep in. So.
Wow, wee.
Negligence.
Yeah.
Jeez, can't wait for Father's Day, Ben. You'll be waffled up.
Yeah, no.
Waffled up.
Caleb be looked after.
Yeah. So I think
Wow.
it's safe to
Well,
say I
we're-
get accused of waffling quite a bit. So,
Look,
yeah.
we've still got to make the trek to Strath for one of our away games, so
Yeah.
I will be expecting waffles.
All right,
when that happens.
waffles may be on the menu. That's
Yeah.
right. Sounds good.
Sounds
so there
good.
you go.
That is a good. Now I'm hungry. Let's
Game chat?
continue there. Let's talk about the game. What a great win. Fantastic win. Oh, my God. Score, Swans, 5 goals, 11-41. Defeated by the Crows, 21 goals, 5 points, 131. That was comprehensive, stomping, annihilation. We came to play and we smashed them.
Really did.
Look, I think we know that Sydney fucking suck. They have got some big issues, and what those issues are is debatable.
They're a rabble.
It's Dean Cox. It's are they playing for him? Do they know what they're doing?
the
They've
vibe.
got a few injuries, but more to the point, the Crows had a plan and they executed perfectly. It was dewy, wet, slippery ball, and somehow we still managed to keep that pressure up. Our pressure was so high, and yeah, it's just too many awesome moments. I'm sure Ben has a few things written down. Your thoughts, Sam? Give us some thoughts.
Yeah, I wasn't on the pod last week, but I actually predicted a 90-point win, so I was pretty much
That's handy.
nailed that. So
It's the vibe that you've been giving out most season.
Yeah. No, it was excellent. I think we were all very worried, despite being 4th versus 14th. We were all very worried about going up and playing Sydney on the SCG, which has obviously been a bit of a bogey side for us. Matthew Nicks does his first win against
First
Sydney.
win against Sydney, his old side.
Yeah.
Also, Dawson's first win against his old
yeah.
side.
Yep.
Also, as classic Crows stuff, it was a milestone game for the Sydney Swans with the
the
20th
premiership.
anniversary of the premiership, and it was a kind of a big event there. But somehow we managed to get over that hurdle. We did go into that thinking that Sydney were going to come out screaming, especially because they got smashed by Melbourne the week
The
before.
week before. Melbourne,
But,
they were terrible, yeah.
Maybe we should have had more faith in the Crows.
Well, I think we're we're typical Crows fans, aren't we? We don't look at 4th versus 14th and go that, we should be winning this, or we might say we should be winning this, but there's no confidence about it.
Well, we've got an expectation that it might go wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because it quite often
A
has.
team like Sydney, there's always a chance they're going to turn it around. Like they're not,
Yeah.
they don't necessarily have to be as bad as what their form has been.
But when you watch them on the night, my God, when Warner's not playing as well as he can, they've obviously got a ton of injuries. They've got some injuries to some very key players. Not like their forward line is atrocious, isn't it? Really, like they didn't even look like scoring.
No, and then, they had like one of their smallest defenders on Filthy. I was like,
Yeah.
how the hell is this guy going to match up on him? Like, this
Yeah.
is unreal.
Yeah, and no wonder like Dean Cox has been trying to play McCartan forward because they need something up there, don't they?
and
My
getting
God.
crucified in the media for doing it.
Yeah, that's right. It was, 'cause when you're looking at our side, who's arguably got one of the best forward lines in the comp, and then looking at the other end of who was there? What's that guy's name? I can't even think of his name.
McLean.
McLean, yeah. What an average key forward, like main forward in that side. Like, they're in some trouble.
Definitely
Sydney.
missing Papley at the moment.
Papley and Logan McDonald's obviously out as well.
And
They're
9-goal Amadi.
9-goal
Oh, and
Amadi.
Amadi,
But at least Amadi's a threat, isn't he? If he's there, he might not. He obviously played extremely well against us last time we played them. But it doesn't always do it. But at least he's something. Look, it was the writing was on the wall early. We had that 4-goal lead, and they just couldn't do anything with it.
Yeah, I thought the first quarter they did bring quite a high level of pressure. It's just that we took our opportunities, and
According to
they
the numbers,
couldn't-
their pressure was pretty good the whole game, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
And the second quarter they just dropped their bundle. They just sort of we're done. Then the start of the third quarter they looked like they kicked a few
They might get on
goals.
here.
I was getting some pretty dread thoughts of Jesus, it's going to be one of those record greatest comeback sort of
Were
situations.
you only thinking that because Hutto and Gary Lyon were
Well, they were getting
willing it?
very excited,
They were like,
weren't they?
please.
Can I ask you, Lauren and Ben, what's the number? What's the number? That's what they kept asking each other. Like, what do they need to be at 3/4 time?
Yeah,
I was like, stop, just calm down. The
know.
Crows kick 2 more goals. This is all over. Like,
Yeah.
just settle.
Why do you want them to win so bad?
But I think, we managed to withstand that momentum really quite well, and then we just threw it straight back at them and took the most of it. So I thought that was really good, because I think in the past, teams doing that would have got a 8-goal run on us, whereas we stemmed it and we replied, and then they lost their mojo. And we
Dare I say good coaching, Ben?
well,
I
I,
think
don't
we
know
should.
if just steady on, Sam. That's getting a little bit radical, but and I think it's one of those ones where you have to, if we have a really comprehensive effort like that, you have to give some credit to coaching. I mean, they get smashed when things don't go so perfectly. So
Just to arrest that momentum in the third, I think shows a lot that they came in with a bit of a plan. They just needed a little bit of a kick in the guts there 10 minutes into the third, and it was all good again.
Sorry.
I was just going to say one of the most pleasing things about the game was that everyone was a solid contributor. Across the board, there was no real there was a few standout players, but still everyone, we had 14 individual goal kickers or something stupid like that.
We beat a team by 90 points and not a single person scored over 100 fantasy points.
Yeah.
Normally you'd have that sort of belting, you'd have someone who's just had a belter of a game, but
Yeah.
it was that even.
And, we didn't rely on Dawson or Rankin, the two kind of game-winning players.
No.
Dawson kind of got shut off. He was, I guess, kind of tagged by Jordan a little bit, and he was moving around slightly, had a few shocking inside 50 entries that didn't work out his way. And, while Rankin was great, fantastic, as he always is, he didn't save the game like he normally would. It was just a really good, solid contribution from everyone.
And I think in a similar fashion, we had such a win, but not in the we've had really good beltings of pretty poor teams that have just let us play the way we want to play, where it's a lot of easy, quick kick, mark, transition, clean marks inside 50 and then kick a goal. This was not that sort of game. It was slippery, it was difficult, and they did give us a fair bit of pressure for most of the night. It's just that we gave the pressure back and created so many chances with scrappy, sort of quick, opportunistic goals. So it was nice to see that we could win under different conditions and in a different way, to then not being completely reliant on perfect clean ball movement to get to our big, three-headed monster that I think it's really good structurally, but we're not reliant on them kicking all the goals for us.
No, and they didn't really at all, did they?
No. So I think it was Vardy who put something out I don't know if it was yesterday or before, saying that our actual percentage of goals coming from those big key forwards is actually quite low, which I don't think is a bad thing. I think it makes backlines accountable, but when it's hitting the ground, we've got other options to kick goals if they don't get it. What it means is we're not just an easy intercept target. Everyone has to take a man, and the ball comes to ground, and we've got a chance. So, yeah, I think it's all working nicely.
There were so many good moments in the game, highlight reel. Obviously we've got to start with Josh Rochelle, that kick through to Ben Keys. We're going to be talking about that for the rest of our lives, I think.
Soccer background, Lauren.
Oh, you reckon?
I was impressed by Fox doing the was it onside.
Yeah, that was good.
That was great. That was one that, I made Matt watch the replay, and he's a big soccer guy. So he was like, I don't care about this, but I'll watch that all day. And he was very happy to find out that both Rash and Keys are United fans.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's Jesus, Manchester United.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I know, woof. But also Hinge, he's been nominated for Mark of the Year this round. He took a fucking great hanger there.
Yeah. Not quite as impressive on the replay.
Oh, he got up pretty high. I think the fall was the most spectacular part about it, to be fair. But look, we'll take it. I guess we should talk about some players because, like I said, it was an effort across the board.
Well, one player that's obviously been heavily scrutinised this year, Mark Keane.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, he was fantastic.
Josh Worrell, who?
Yeah.
Mark Keane has risen to the top somehow in the last few weeks. He was fantastic.
Yeah.
Alex Neil-Bullen
Yeah.
has been relatively quiet, doing good things, but that was his breakout game for the Crows. He was everywhere, and his ball use was just worked for us fantastically. Someone we mentioned last week who I thought was having too quiet a time was Isaac Cumming. He managed to get his hands on the pill a bit and kick 2 goals in the end. Luke Pedler, thought he was incredible. You didn't really see him much, but when he was around the ball, he was just crashing through those packs just no fear, relentless effort. Absolutely loved it. Wayne Miller, thought he was fantastic this week. James Peatling.
Peatling was great.
Peatling was awesome. Dan Curtin obviously had another great game. Still kind of trying to get into the swing of things, I think, but just every week he just does, great things, and he's just so clean.
Made a couple of mistakes, but made up for them, I think.
It's so handy to have someone that tall down the line playing a wing role if we need to just kick down. So
Yeah.
Ben Keys, obviously working his ass off every, up and down the ground.
I'm so glad he finished that goal from the forward pass.
So good.
That would have been quite the letdown.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh, Boz is in the chat. G'day, Boz.
Is he?
Yeah. So, lots of names there. Obviously, seeing Brody Smith kick a goal is always fantastic. Love it when he does that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Really?
It was just such a good, well put together game.
Yeah.
And it's just that is the exact way we want the Crows to play every single week. And if they can bring that up against Brisbane, we are definitely taking the win home, I reckon.
Yeah, right.
I think if we can apply that much pressure, we'd be at better than 50-50 odds to
At home.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so-
for sure.
Quick couple of stats before
Go for
vote.
stats.
Go for it.
Not much, but just basically we smashed them in territory. Like we were 70 to 45 inside 50s. And despite that, though, both teams only had 5 marks inside 50. So that gives you an idea of just how scrappy and pressured the game was.
Yeah.
So, it was quite something to have that lower number for 70 inside 50s, but it still didn't stop us scoring. The other thing is that we just continue to score very heavily from turnover. So this game we scored 88 points, so 14 goals for from turnover. We're averaging 64 points a game now for the year, which has us as first. Second is Collingwood on 58. So, and a lot of the top teams, it seems to be this year, that's the trend this year, is the better teams are getting people from turnover seems to be the big way to get a winning score. So applying pressure, making teams kick down the line, getting the ball back, and then rushing it in.
It's like scoring from halfback.
Yeah, it's sort of it's not. I mean, it's still good to be able to score from stoppage, but it's not necessarily what's getting the big wins. Like the Bulldogs, that's what their strength is. They're highest for scores from stoppage, but it's generally a more fruitful thing to get it from turnover. So
Yeah.
it's good to be ranked first in that stat.
It's fantastic.
For sure. No, it was. Is that all, Ben? Is that all stats you've got?
Is that enough?
That was a bit.
I said it
down
wasn't
unusual.
much.
Well, you were correct.
Mr. Drawsome. let's have a look at some comments. I'm not sure if
Have you got any specific?
I've been putting them up on
Are
the
you putting them
request?
up?
Yeah, I've been putting a few up.
Mr. Drawsome said about the umpiring. I actually thought the umpiring was fantastic.
Well, we have to probably call that out considering we bagged them most weeks. We probably got a fair run, I think, from the umpires.
We actually got a really good rub of the green, but I thought that all those frees were there. Like there wasn't many that weren't there.
But it's still 22-20. We didn't win as they say, and the old it started nicely with that McLean getting the relatively soft free to kick their first goal. So
Yeah.
It just felt like maybe it's just because we come from such a low base, but it felt like we had a pretty good run.
Well, I wasn't screaming "you fucking dipshit," at the TV through the game. Most of the time with the replay, I thought the frees were there.
Yeah.
And I didn't think it was either way bad umpiring. I'm sure there was I definitely like this. There was some Swans fans at the ground that were very unhappy with some of the calls, but as I said, there were a few there. Oh, I forgot to mention that goal that Thilthorpe managed to kick with the ball on kind of rolling the ball over it.
Stepping on it. Yeah.
That was we got kissed on the dick with that.
Oh, yeah.
Big time.
Yes.
Was it talking about umpires? Was it the Richmond game where they almost paid no free kicks for a quarter?
Oh, really?
I think it was like Richmond GWS. It was maybe 2 for the quarter or something. They barely paid any, and no one was complaining about it.
Right.
Oh, there
So
you go.
sort of that's a bit extreme,
that.
but maybe if it's over adjudicated, you're going to make a lot more decisions poorly.
Are you saying that less umpiring might be better, Ben?
I think
Who would
maybe
have thought?
maybe 4 of them picking up every little thing that they possibly can isn't ideal.
Yeah. Funny that.
Maybe.
Well, should we get on to votes then?
Yep.
Alrighty, Ben, who you got?
Yep. So I have gone with. I did give it to Keane. I mean, realistically, the Sydney. I think thought he was on their team because he did get spotted up by them quite frequently. But I think to have that much interception and really set up that maintaining territory that meant we could get those 70 inside 50s. So I thought he was very important. Neil Bullen was really, really good. And I thought, as you said, had been very quiet until now coming. I thought got the one. These votes, there's just so many players you could almost give equal votes to.
Yeah.
And that's when we play our best, when it's such an even performance.
What's the bet? We're all very similar, though.
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't
we
know.
all could, but, you just check the fantasy score and put it on.
To be fair, it was pretty hard to split the votes. So I think they probably will be pretty similar, but still, it was a very, God, I was struggling with a quiet achiever this week, that's for sure. Dan's got 3 for Neil Bullen, 2 for Mark Keane, and 1 for Benny Keys. Sam, who you got?
I had 3 for Keane, 2 for Neil Bullen, and 1 for Rochelle. I think Rochelle's game he's got under their skin. I think it was just a very good game.
Someone said on Twitter he's added a bit of chirp to his game, and
added.
Yeah. Well, I think he's I don't know if he's ever been a bit of that kind of smart-assy kind of kid.
Oh, I don't know. I reckon he's had a bit of that.
I reckon he's added a bit of competence to his chirp. So.
Yeah. Well, there's that.
He's backing it up.
Yeah.
Backing up the chirp. Yeah.
But yeah, him versus Rampy was pretty funny, and he was really getting under Rampy's skin there.
Yeah.
He was hating it.
Yeah. And he kept tapping his bum. Did you notice we're doing that a little bit, tapping bums?
Josh was or Rampy?
No, it was us, and it was multiple crows that were doing it.
I did see Isaac do it to someone. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Just keep an eye on it.
Yeah. Tap my bum anytime, Isaac. Who have you got? I know you did yours. What have I got? Did you do yours? Yes.
Oh, I did do mine.
Just waiting on yours.
3 for Mark Keane, 2 for Neil Bullen, and 1 for Benny Keys.
Bozza gave us votes.
Oh, did he?
Keen 3, multiple dads 2, Jizza 1.
All right, well, let's get on to the quiet
That's what Ben
achievement
did, I reckon.
then. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Tyson Edwards.
You're such a quiet achiever.
Well, speaking of quiet achievers and Isaac Cumming, otherwise known as Izzy Jizzy, he's mine.
Right, nice.
Dan has Curtin.
Yeah, I did. I had Curtin too.
Ben?
I went with Peatling. I thought he started a lot of
That's
the
a
stuff.
fourth vote if I've ever seen
Yeah.
one.
No, he had the most contested possessions. He started a lot of what we needed to, but didn't necessarily finish with the flash stuff. Thank you very much. It's a very valid.
He knew we were going to. He had that ready.
He's also putting his elegant neck at risk every time he goes in under the
Elegant
ball.
neck.
He's got a very elegant neck.
Okay.
Which is why I was so mad
keep an eye
that
on it.
Baker put his elbow into it last week.
Nice.
Yeah. I pretty much had all the players I mentioned in my special mentions because there were just so many good players.
Yeah, there
So,
was. Yeah.
I think this week is going to be an incredible game. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. But in the meantime, let's just have a bit of a chat.
Chat.
Got some goss for you. Now, before we move to the goss, we were just watching 360 earlier, but we turned it off to do this podcast. Now, they've put up my favourite graph, the Premiership window graph.
Ooh, don't tell us we're in the top right.
We are far in the top right. The only team above us is Collingwood, and the Suns are closely behind us, but
Right.
we are fucking contenders. We actually might get to the grand final.
Oh, God.
That's terrifying.
Stop saying it.
This is it. Like, everyone's looking at us going, it could be them.
It could be.
Especially if we win the next two, lids off.
I think by the end of by this time next week, we'll have a much better idea of exactly where we're at.
I want to wait till this week. That was an excellent win. Don't get me wrong. Not taking any shine off of it. It was great. Like, I didn't expect it. Not like that anyway. If you want to be a naysayer, we've still only beaten one team currently in the top 8.
Do you want to be a Jack Rewalt?
Yeah. We'll bring him
Don't
up
get
later.
started on that.
So
Not what he's going to be later, but did you see the end of game coverage where as soon as like he couldn't get on fast enough to say, but who have they actually really beaten?
straight after the game.
Straight after a 90-point win.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
He beat us in a grand final. Why is he so full of hate?
Well, I
he's
just
just
think
a knob.
he's just shit.
Let's bitch about him later.
Yeah,
we've got
it's in
more to
it's
talk
in my
about later.
segment, Yeah.
But no, seriously, like the people are taking the Crows seriously.
They
now.
are, yeah.
And I think Saturday night kind of showed that we can play a mature and consistent game. Like, I think the boys will take so much confidence out of that, and I really hope that they can utilise that. And at the moment, I don't think Brisbane are a great side. Obviously, we know that, but they're not really. I don't know. They're not what they were last year.
Well, they're not consistent at the moment. When they're
Yeah.
really, really good, they're still really, really good, but they're going missing in games.
Yeah.
So-
And as for the Hawks, well, they've really got to bounce back because they are in some misery. And actually, I wanted to bring up, I'm not sure if you saw on First Crack last night, but there was some pretty damning vision that Jay Clark brought up of Hawthorn.
Jay Clark, I wouldn't have watched it.
Yeah, well, showed Hawthorn in the change rooms at half time or quarter time, whatever it was, and oh dear, it did not look good in there.
No.
As he pointed out, Nick Watson and Jack Ginnivan kind of up in the top, like the naughty schoolboys on the back of the bus, not really connected with the group at all. James Sicily's got his head in his hands. Like, you would never catch Dawson with his head in his hands if shit was going wrong.
Yeah, but Dawson would never play as shit as Sicily is.
But you know what I mean? Like, he's the captain of the team. Like, you've
Yeah.
got to keep your chin up, mate.
Well, Ginnivan got interviewed after the game and he looked happy as Larry, chatting away, we're going to be bringing mouth guards to training this week, and he was just a chirpy little fellow. But I don't know how much the team would love how happy he is at the moment. So, don't know, maybe it's just his character, but still.
Second year, bit of that second year good team blues from
How
Hawthorn.
much hype was there at the start of the year? This is the greatest team in the comp at the moment, the Hawthorn. It's like, just let them achieve something before we start giving them plaudits.
Exactly.
They're kind of like a year behind us.
Well, yeah. And, maybe they do need to take it a little bit more seriously. And, yeah, I thought that footage was actually
good to see because that just showed me that maybe they're not connected as a group at the moment, and that is definitely beneficial for us who are very connected as a group at this time.
Well, I think that's the key for Hawthorn because on paper their team doesn't look very good, and it's the same with Collingwood. Their team doesn't look great on paper either, but they're playing together
their connection
as
is
good as anything.
Yeah, well, their connection is the best.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what we've got to aim for. I don't like, and Kate's put in the chat here, like I can't, like she doesn't want to play in a grand final against Collingwood, and I think that would be the worst. But at the same time, like anything can happen between now and the end of the season. Collingwood might have a couple of upsets. You don't know, injuries happen. Like anything can really happen. So
Just think how good winning a grand final against Collingwood would be.
oh my god, that would be amazing. Anyway,
And at least we'd be
that
able
is
to tell
getting
the
a-
two teams apart because our jumpers aren't very close in colour.
That's true.
Which is nice.
That's good for
me.
Hawkeye like you.
But yeah, we're getting a little bit too ahead of ourselves, perhaps.
Yeah, we
but
are, yeah.
I think obviously the next two games up until the bye are very, very important. But I definitely see us as a chance to win both of them.
I just want to see a 2 to 3 goal loss or a win this weekend, and I'll start to seriously believe. I sort of do now, but like I just want to see that.
Yeah.
Because like you say, it's very negative Nancy to run through the positions of the teams we have beaten, and it's not amazing, but we also have performed pretty well against some good teams as well. So yeah,
That's it.
We just want to see some wins.
I mean, look at Collingwood. You know, they thrashed Hawthorn over the weekend.
Yeah.
We only lost to them by 10 points?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, that's
And
right.
I think Hawthorn will be a really interesting challenge because even when Hawthorn were terrible, Sam Mitchell really seemed to know exactly what to do against us. So it's going to be an interesting challenge to see if we can be ready for whatever Sam throws at us.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
Yeah. What were your other talking points there, Lauren? Did you-
apparently the Carlton Big Footy Board reckons that Carlton have offered Rob a 3-year contract. So don't know about that.
Look, I'd be devastated if Rob left.
Well, I mean, he wasn't too bad on the weekend. So who have we got? Who have we got?
Oh,
Is
Rob-
it a straight swap for TDK?
No, he's not coming in.
I'm not one for big statements, but Rob has not been a liability.
No,
last
not
few
in the
weeks.
last few weeks when he's playing for his contract. No.
He's been
Look, honestly, I don't care if he's playing for his contract as long as he's playing good footy.
Yeah, but the problem is what happens when he does have a contract and he just goes back to being shit again.
well. It seems like from all the reports, it sounds like we have plans that are slightly different next year, but we'll see.
It does seem that way, doesn't it? Obviously, Draper's still unsigned for next year.
If we didn't
And
have
injured.
if we didn't
Yeah,
have
I think-
plans, we would have 2 years for Rob, and Rob would take it. You would think so, but it seems like there's something brewing.
And there's still plenty of rumours floating around that, mates of Draper's back here are saying he's coming here.
Yeah, well, I mean,
yeah.
maybe he is, and maybe that's why. Don't know. It's hard to say. Nazaya had an interview with Nazaya. Apparently, he's happy at the Saints. He said all the right things about being happy at the Saints. He's liking what they're doing. Wants to put something good together with the team. But Crows are still very much ahead in terms of luring him home, and apparently he is coming home for the weekend,
Right.
for the bye weekend. So Isaac Rankin, if you're listening, get that man to a brunch and get in his ear.
Where would you take him?
Oh, well, I
Somewhere
went,
down at Henley Beach.
yeah, of course.
Yeah, you gotta go
Joe's,
there.
whatever. Yeah. Definitely take him out for a couple of beers at the Ramsgate.
Oh, yeah.
Show him what's
I'm
up.
not
Show him
sure
the old
that's a good
stomping
idea.
ground.
I would have thought Strathalbyn and show him the farm that McHenry has, and
Oh, yeah,
Murray
all
and-
that.
Yeah.
But, what better person to get in his ear? A star who came home on a lucrative deal.
Yeah.
Come to us. We are doing something special. Look at us. We are top 3. Look at the Saints. Where are you even on the ladder?
Well, he's not going to Port, is he? Because they just look terrible.
Well, you'd be silly.
They might have a lot of money if Butters leaves, though.
Well, yeah, don't know.
Yeah.
But I've got, I bet that he's either staying at the Saints or he's coming to us.
I would
It's
imagine
one
he's
or-
just
one or the
waiting.
other.
He's just waiting for the money, and Saints probably aren't offering it up because of the TDK gear. So
Yeah.
once that all goes through, they'll probably know what they can afford to pay him. So, yeah, interesting times.
Josh said, and Wayne as well. Like, yeah, Wayne can get in his ear, but I reckon Isaac's the one, hey, because Isaac's like, Wayne's like barely related to him. Isaac's the star who came home for the money and came, they're in the same boat. He's got to get in his ear. He's got to be like, I made the right choice.
Well,
you two can make the right choice.
Isaac talked about quite a lot of homesickness, and they do say there is that lure of being back in SA for Wanganeen. So
Yeah.
Mummy Kane, bit of a role change for Laura. Slight demotion, I guess you could say, or
Is this an admission from the AFL saying they got it wrong?
it was a halving of their roles. Yeah.
and Greg
I
Swan.
don't recall them saying those specific words.
I don't recall them ever saying those specific words.
Honestly, I think it's for the best for her because surely the mental toll of just being hammered in the media day in, day out and online must be fucked.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
I feel bad for her. I think she was thrown in, I think unfortunately she was thrown in the deep end. I think she was just underqualified for the role that she took on.
And I think
it is such a huge role.
Yeah,
Now that they've like split it in half, it's like, oh yeah, what the fuck? Like, why was she
and
doing
got
so
in
much
Greg
work?
Swan, who I'm assuming they're paying an absolute packet to leave Brisbane to go there.
and I feel like she got thrown into the spotlight like no one else in her previous position. Like just because Dylan, nobody. Like they needed someone to gloss up him because he doesn't present himself very well. No one really likes him. So let's get Laura Kane on. She'll be more approachable or whatnot, but she's just become the target of everything that's gone wrong now.
That's it.
But like we've had issues with the AFL in the past. Like there's been times where you've gone, like, what are they doing? What is this? But it's felt like it's been, for lack of a better word, a rabble this whole year. Like it's just hasn't felt like that anyone there knows what they're doing or knows the direction they want to take things. And it's just been really annoying.
And they just stick with such crappy ideas. Like, let's have opening round. Let's just have pretty much a season full of buys. Let's have... It's just
Opening
crazy.
round.
Let's keep this sub rule because no one likes it, but we think it's great.
Yeah.
So
Andrew Dillon has said that Greg Swan is basically going to have autonomy in his role and he
Yeah,
can make
that's
whatever
good.
decisions he likes.
And he's
So
coming from clubland, so he's going to
That's
know
it.
like what.
Yeah.
we'll keep opening round if he's come from Brisbane then.
So probably, but we will get rid of the signs because you know how much Fagan hated those. Anyone who watched 360 before us.
And the only other thing I've got is that Ross Lyon's going to Vegas this weekend.
Is he?
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, right.
Did you see the press conference?
No.
He just said, I'm going to Vegas and then looked down the barrel.
Yeah, I don't mind Ross.
I think he's funny.
Yeah, I don't mind him stirring up. Oh, I certainly don't mind him stirring up Hardwick. That was pretty funny.
Yeah,
a
that's
couple of weeks
hilarious.
ago.
And like, come on, Dimmer, soft cop.
Yeah.
Did we talk about this last week?
I don't know if we talked about it last week, but geez, he's annoying. He's like, look, I've been in Victoria and let me tell you,
Well, it's
we
just like,
don't get very much up here. And I was like, oh, yeah,
well, it's just like, it's true.
such an arrogant tossbag. So
Well, it's not like it's not true. Like, they are the AFL's Nepo baby and he's the overpaid babysitter. Like,
Yeah.
that's what it is.
Yeah,
Like, just own it.
yeah, and how many academy picks did you just get to then say, oh, we don't get very much? And it's like, well, no, you obviously do have your challenges, but still, you don't need to make it sound like you are the worst treated club in the history of AFL. So just because you've come from Richmond where it was a trek to get across to Marvel doesn't mean that that's indicative of how every other club has to deal with stuff.
Yeah. No, massive sook, and we've all hated him for a while now.
And it's a good reason I don't wish Gold Coast very well at all this year.
Which is disappointing, actually. I want to like
I have
them.
no issues with GWS.
No.
They're fine.
No.
But Gold Coast can just go on the bin.
Yeah. Careful.
Just can. Well,
He's treading twice on the segment tonight.
that's going to be a buy.
Well, you can
Forever,
have your
then.
You can do your segment now.
Can I?
Yeah.
All right.
If you want to know what's in the spring, get into Rowan Jarman.
Good things. Swans cheering points. Swans fans cheering points on the weekend.
We were there once.
Yeah, we were. It was. I always like sort of put the Swan, like I know Bozza calls them the like plastic clappers or something, and they always give off that vibe to me that they don't really know the rules. So some cheering points just I don't know. I thought that was quite good. I think that was funny.
They had to be there for something.
Yeah.
The whole 7,000 people that were left.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, they thinned
out of
out, didn't they?
35,000.
Yeah, a couple of just ones that you probably don't care about. Finally got a chance to go down and see my local club on the weekend, Yankala Tigers. They had a big freeze event down there. Place was packed out, and they smashed Langhorne Creek. So Ben would be pretty happy about that. Just the rivals over there.
Yeah, is Langhorne
Terrible.
Oh, really? Their youngsters are really quite good.
Are they? Yeah,
Yeah.
no, they're shocking in the top. They,
Yeah,
I think I'm not sure. They might have won one game. I think.
Yeah, their juniors are like, you can tell they're on farms and they're just tough and they're always
Yeah,
outside
okay.
doing stuff. Whereas, maybe it doesn't translate to when they get older.
We got one of those funny scores you see on Big Footy and Twitter in the Great Southern League as well. McLaren Vale beat Goolwa by 240 points.
Oh,
Oh,
Jesus.
Goolwa, Port Elliot Goolwa is an absolute basket case.
They might have to merge again. They might
Are they a rabble? Another rabble?
The
They
Port
are a
Elliot
rabble.
Goolwa Middleton Encounter Bay team.
don't put Encounter Bay in there. That'll choke you. And last thing, Piastri winning again last night, extending his
All right.
lead in the Formula One Championship. For those who like to stay up late and watch some motor racing.
They've got it all in cricket, aerobics wear, sports shoes and sportswear for future heroes and present day heroes.
Ooh,
Oh, you got
we haven't
some
heard that one before.
recommended retail?
Yeah, I got a couple of things for in here. My sister sent me a message on the weekend and asked why the Suns and the Giants are listed in capitals on the AFL ladder. Does anyone know this?
No, I've never noticed.
No. If you have a look at it, I looked it up on the app and she was right. Hello to Matilda. But yeah, it looks the Gold Coast Suns in capitals and the GWS Giants are all in capitals. And they're the
I
only
mean, I guess
Well, I
the
think-
Giants make sense
I
because
think
they're giant.
GWS is initials, so I'd take GWS.
No,
No, but
it says
Giants.
But Giants part, I'm not sure. No.
And like you could say, oh well, they're the only, but they're not the only. Like a lot of other teams have their mascot listed. You know,
Hawthorn
Lions,
doesn't even get a Hawks.
No, Fremantle don't get a Dockers. Yeah,
Is that a club choice? Or
I don't know.
how they want to present their name?
It seems
or-
weird that they'd allow the two expansion clubs to just have them in capitals though. Anyway, clearly doesn't matter. I'm just putting it out
No,
there.
that's,
And you'd
that's a
think-
good.
You'd think it's like
noticing.
a character limits, but then you have West Coast and Eagles, which are well and truly the furthest across the screen. So weird.
Yeah, bit strange. Anyway,
Interesting.
yeah.
Please
so-
explain AFL. Greg Swan, let us know what's up with
Is that
that.
Swanee or Kane that's on top
Yeah, I
of
don't
that
know.
one?
Maybe we need to tweet Laura.
And I put in, we've already discussed it, the changes within the AFL. I sort of put it in here because I think it's a good thing that they're doing something. But yeah. One thing I was going to bring up though, Rochelle and his embellishments of some pushing and stuff. How are we feeling?
I mean, to be honest, I didn't think anything of it because I thought, what player wouldn't do that? I don't know.
It was.
I
a
thought
fair
it was one of
push.
the lesser staging incidents, to be
Yeah.
honest. And he got crucified on Reddit by a few people in the AFL subreddit, which I thought was kind of ridiculous. I was like, well, really? Like, I've seen worse.
Yeah, I think the thing I probably, I put it in here because I don't think it's a bad as such because it was kind of funny and he'd obviously sucked Rampy in to try and draw the free kick.
Yeah.
Don't love the fact that he just threw his head back when he obviously got hit in the chest. It was a fair, it was a fair push.
There did
but-
seem to be some force involved with the push, but
Yeah.
no. It just seems very commonplace for it to have received so much attention.
Yeah, I think if the shoe was on the other foot, we would be annoyed by it. So I just wanted to raise it to see what everybody thought.
Yeah, I was in that phase, but I think Daddy Nix did say on 360 tonight they've had a chat about that. Please don't be doing that.
I
So-
don't mind him sucking players in and trying to get it, but just it's probably the over embellishing that maybe just rein it in just a little bit.
In general, though, I'm not a big fan of overdoing it, and it's similar to players who are deliberately trying to get their head taken out. Like it's the same sort of thing. Stop playing for that sort of stuff. Play
I mean,
properly.
he might have got the 50 anyway, without doing that. So
Yeah, that's it.
it's hard to say.
It
but
is.
yeah.
Footwear sacrificed at half price and equipment slashed to half price. Rowan Jarman's huge half price sale. Don't miss it.
I said Jay Clark to you guys on the podcast
We had
last
no
week
idea
in the
what you were
comments.
talking
Yeah,
about,
I just couldn't be bothered writing anymore. Sorry, I shouldn't have written anything. He's just appearing on too many shows and he's very annoying. And I just feel like he's on these like First Crack, which I think is actually a really good show, but he doesn't have any like. He's not smart enough to be dissecting games. He's the journo basically.
Well, he's just kind of pulling headlines out of out of the subject matter and putting them to Kingy and
Yeah.
Lee and being like, "What do you think about this?"
Yeah.
Even when after the game, even was he on the panel there and like they were talking about Mark Keane and he just like brought up Keane going back to Collingwood. Like that was
that was a while ago, man, and
Yeah.
obviously he's not. So why are you even bringing that up? Like,
yeah. Because he's obviously taken over Robbo. He's taken Robbo's role, not on 360, but at the Herald Sun.
Yes.
So that's why he's being pushed onto all these shows, because they're Herald Sun shows.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he just doesn't have quite the charisma or something about it that, don't know.
Yeah, it's-
Something about him just don't like it.
Yeah.
Anyway, some people might agree, some people might not. Callum Ward, ACL, career
yeah,
over,
that's shit.
which is a bit shit. So I just thought I'd put that in here. No one likes to see someone who seems like such a good guy go out that way. So that's a bit rubbish.
There's a lot of plaudits for him going on to Fox to talk about it, but it's one of those things where it just feels a bit weird that Fox would try and get someone who's just done their ACL in the middle of a game to have an interview at half time. I don't know.
They're all clambering over that. You see them trying to have a crack at each other. Like Seven and Fox are really trying to dig into each other at the moment.
They're not happy, no. I don't think Seven like the fact that they have to compete for a commentary thing.
No, that's it.
Particularly BT doesn't like anyone being compared favourably against him.
Yeah, but did you also see that Fox didn't show up to a MCG game a week ago?
Yeah, BT.
I don't think they're showing up to anything.
Well, they show up to some, but not like, they certainly weren't at Alice Springs on Sunday.
no.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. I much prefer Fox's coverage, but I really don't like the fact that they're not at games, because I feel like it's easy to tell as well, because you can see that they're just watching what we're seeing, and then, a player goes down behind and you just catch that and you notice they don't say it, whereas if they were there, they would notice it and talk about
Yeah.
it. So, yeah, not good. Anyway, what else have I got here? The airport photos in their stupid compression socks.
No.
Ban them. They're no good.
Those-
Same level as gym
I
photos.
love those photos.
Those socks got us a 90-point win on the weekend.
Yeah, and I like seeing all the boys happy and smiling. So I'm pro those photos.
We have a very good injury list, and I still stand by my statement that whatever they're doing is working. Let's keep it up.
Ben's going to
And
wear
I think
compression socks next week.
Those socks have a large percentage of our success this year.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, let's see. And my last thing in the bads, and obviously we're probably going to have a bit of a chat about this, the Wayne Miller stuff. So obviously Jack Rewalt. Jack Rewalt's getting very close to going in Hall of Fame bin category for mine.
Is he getting
Yeah,
a
I
segment,
reckon.
just jack off? Or
He might do.
He's shocking, and here why they've put him on probably one of their most prestigious shows on the couch as the host has got me buggered. Like it's easy
very
for us to
average.
sit here and say he can't talk properly, but when we're trying to do it, but he's very, very average.
He's so average, and made a complete mountain out of a molehill of Wayne's comments that he didn't even listen to. I'll have you know, he's literally just going off like a tweet from ABC Sport. Didn't actually listen to the context of the conversation, which most of us didn't even get to hear because ABC don't put their bloody interviews anywhere.
Yeah, right.
But it was actually former Triple J presenter Declan Byrne who interviewed Wayne Miller in the change rooms, and he actually posted a TikTok to give some context around the comments and said that the question put to Wayne by him was, did Matthew Nicks address the fact that Sydney were quite obviously a bit of a mess on the field? And Wayne's response was, no, he didn't have to, because we could tell. Like, they were just, arguing, and they were a bit of a rabble. Like, what he said was so tame. And, like, Jack just ran with it. Like, saying it was, is it disrespectful? Is this going against the Crows' values? Like, are you fucking serious?
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, fresh off the Crows have beaten nobody. How excited was he to see that? And then, I'd like to know if this is the values that the Crows stand for.
And then, of course, your mate Jay Clark jumped right on it as well.
Of course, yeah.
But and Rewalt's coming from this perception that this mighty Richmond team was such a humble team and so gracious in victory, and it's like, well, that wasn't my memory of how Richmond went about it when they were successful. So, yeah, he is many levels of frustrating.
And, I also didn't like Gary Lyon and David King, like, oh, we never even heard Miller speak before. Like, I've never even seen him interviewed. Like, well, you have. Well, he's been interviewed. If you'd watched any Sir Doug Nicholls round presses, you would have seen he's been interviewed, and you'd know that he's just a softly spoken guy who clearly doesn't mean any malice by that. And is Tim Silver's apologising also in the bin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand why he did it because he
Same.
just wanted to just nip it in the bud. Done. Hopefully, this is the last we hear of it.
I mean,
sort
we've
of thing.
obviously got bigger fish to fry. We
Like
need-
he would have bloody rung Tom Harley and gone, "Hey Tom, look, Miller had probably didn't mean to say that. Do you guys care?" And he would have gone, "No, we were fucking a rabble."
That's the thing. Now the club's getting attacked because we apologised. But again, that's just the reporting on the apology as if we were so grovelling. But it might have been just a very casual, just checking up that you guys are okay.
Yeah.
And who cares if they've done that? I mean, you'll create a media storm if you do nothing, or you'll create a media storm if you do anything. So,
I think what fans and supporters like, they want the CEO to stick up for their players, because we obviously see nothing wrong with the comments, and sometimes we just want him to come to play and be like, no, there was nothing wrong with that. But like you said, Sam, I totally get why he's done it. It's because we literally just have to focus on Friday night. Like, we don't need that bullshit going on in the background, like, and turning it into. It doesn't need to turn into a bigger story than it is. So what the best thing to do is just do that, nip it in the bud, make the phone call, and then it's over.
Neil Bullen's presser today, a large portion of that was still talking about rabbles.
Yeah.
It was really frustrating.
Yeah.
Such a non-story.
I think we just got to, clearly the Crows, like, the culture at the Crows is very like, we are driving professional standards, and Silvers is a professional operator. So I get why he did it.
Mr. Drawsome said Silvers is weak.
No, I don't think he's weak at all. I think he's just doing what he thinks he needs to do, and that's totally fine. Like, what the weak people are the media who are turning it into a story in the first place. Like, if Bailey Smith is like dropping comments about doing fucking lines nose beers and like, calling out Ballarat for being a shithole, and everyone's like, oh, personality. But that, like, Wayne Miller is saying like the most like, obvious statement ever that's like means nothing, turns into a fucking, like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's a funny one, isn't it? And it's like, well, they just got beaten by 90 points and didn't look like they could score. Like, are they not a rabble?
They definitely. We all saw it. It was pretty obvious from home on the telly. They were a rabble.
And he only said a bit of a rabble. He didn't say a complete rabble.
Yeah, that's right. Mr. Drawson
right.
did clarify and said, you got to back your players in. Yeah, I agree, and I certainly don't.
I don't think
I don't love the fact that he felt the need to do that.
Well,
but
the thing is, it was
I
made.
see why.
It was made public.
Yeah.
If it hadn't been made public, we wouldn't even know about it. And that's not to say that he's not backing Wayne in either. I think we're just like, we like the illusion that he's backing Wayne in. Obviously, the illusion's been taken from us because they've reported that he apologised to Sydney. Like, it's just one of those stupid things. Everyone knows that Wayne didn't say anything bad, and I think we've just got to keep going with that and focus on the game ahead.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the bin, Jack, you fuckhead.
Tony's in the chat. Tony looks like a bit of a Kingy fan. I wonder if he watches Fireball or listens to Fireball.
Oh, I listened to Fireball this morning and no Kano.
Nah, he's off.
And that's the other thing.
They were making it up like he's taking a mental break.
Yeah, I don't think that's the case at all.
No, he's been talking about it at least the last week in the 2 episodes that he wasn't going to be there for Monday.
I saw that. I was like, that is a made up headline.
Yeah, it absolutely
he's
was.
definitely just having a week off.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he's back on Friday.
Yeah, and if he was really having a break for reasons of like, because he's been causing too much chaos in the media, he would have had last week off, like when it was actually all happening.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, Fireball, Tony, Mondays and Friday mornings on SEN. Get onto it.
6 a.m.
The cheat code is to go onto the SEN app at about 9 o'clock on each of those days and just listen to the podcast, because then you don't get all the ads and all the rubbish.
Breaks up all the segments for you as well. So if you can't be bothered listening to them crap on about a team you don't like, you can just get onto the little bits.
Yeah.
And Dawson was interviewed on there this morning too.
Yeah, I didn't actually get up to that. I'm still listening to it. I listened to the rest on the way home. Was anything good out of that? It was pretty.
Again, just like sticking up for Wayno and
Sam Edmonds a bit annoying.
Oh, he is a punish. Yeah. He's got the producer voice.
Oh yeah. I don't think he's ever going to say. He's not like Kane. He's not going to say something stupid.
No. It's a shame. Got anything else? Or that's it.
No, that was all I had.
All right.
What are we on to next?
Oh shit, I don't know. Well, I guess we're talking
Socials.
Oh yeah, I did have a bit of
We
social
got
media,
a bit
actually.
of social. socials this week. Oh, I haven't had this in a while.
My name's Tim the Wonder Dog.
Tim.
Out of bounds on the full.
Can I start off? Oh,
No, you start. Yeah,
were you
you
gonna
go.
Were you gonna do Dirk?
I didn't even know there was a Dirk. So,
We just got a Dirk.
oh my god. Well, have you got Dirk's DMs up?
Oh, is there?
There's a little slide there
Do
for
we?
him. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll definitely put that up. Dirk's DMs. All right.
Dirk, have you got legs?
I have been so smooth tonight doing everything and then get caught that.
Don't know what happened there.
Yeah.
I'm not comfortable talking about Dirk's legs. I think keep his legs to himself.
A decent enough win, but like a Sholey the Sphinx riddle, if a swan dies in Sydney and there's no one in the stands to witness it, I'ma keep my glaze phase at bay and back to Shoal. I'll believe it when I see it against a team with a rudder firmly attached. We've seen Nixie at his worst, but I reckon his best might have been seen too. That win was a divine Davis display. People are noticing the brizziness in our game now, and this weekend might confirm it. A real Hall of Mirrors watch. We want what they had, bottom to top. Hopefully Murray still had some of that Magic 4X in his kit bag, and Nixie doesn't spill it in his lap.
Come on,
That
Dirk.
is quite a word salad, that is. Yeah.
Dirk's not
still
a
a bit-
Davis's coaching guy, is he? Come on, Dirk.
I think he was just mentioned because obviously he's come from Brisbane, so he's just
Well,
hoping
yeah.
he's got a little bit of that
Of course.
intel.
Well, he definitely will. He knows the game plan back to front, no doubt.
Yeah, you would imagine so. Yeah. So, yeah, thanks, Dirk.
Thanks,
It's always interesting getting one from Dirk.
Great to hear from you. Yoshi sent, that's how you get it done on the road. Bang. And Carnivale said anti-rabble like. And Matt Samet Saxman said, you guys might need to start a GoFundMe for Keane. He's racked up 13.5 grand already. Well, we're not making that much of our merch, unfortunately. So
I got told no one pays those fines anyway.
yeah, you know, they're probably just chipping at the end. Adrian says, everyone's pumped up Rochelle for his assist. What about Key's execution of the goal? Stunning. That is true. It wouldn't have been an assist without the goal. Right. Digger.
Score assist, not a goal assist.
That's very true.
Digger made the return home. Very satisfying.
Oh,
and
yeah.
he is in the chat. Welcome home, Digger. So glad you're home. The messages have stopped.
Have you been over to his place for a slide night?
No, not yet, but I'm sure we'll get the invite soon. Or at least like it might be a collection of all the videos posted.
I still have memories as a kid going to people's houses, and that would be literally a slide night.
Wow.
So you wouldn't have photos; you'd have negatives on a little panel that would
Yeah,
go through a projector, yeah, and it would go onto the wall, and they'd say, "This is what we did on
You're
holidays."
not that ancient.
That's
man.
how
You know
old
what
he
a,
is.
What a slideshow is.
It was
And Bozza is live from soccer training tonight, although he is in the chat.
Mike Newbound said a must-win for the Crows to stamp some credibility to their season. Make no mistake about it, as it won't be an easy game.
Yes.
Correct.
It's not going to be an easy game at all.
I'm still not a must-win kind of a guy, but I think the way we perform will be important.
I think, yeah, I'm not saying it needs to be. Anyway, we'll talk about the actual game in a minute anyway. So is that what we're doing now?
What are we doing now?
Do we have any more socials?
No, we're going to preview the Brizzy game.
So we are talking about it now.
Yep.
Let's do it. I don't think we have a button for that, do we?
Do we
Nah.
do we preview that pre-Bozza selections though?
Yeah.
We could do
normally Bozza and then go into our thoughts.
We could do. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, we can.
Why
Let's
not?
bounce off Bozza.
Yes.
It's like a sauna in here.
Evening, people. Round 13 from the car at soccer training. Apologies for the sound. Won't be as good as the old sauna.
That sounds pretty good.
Bears at home. 1 out of 3 done so far for this tough run of 3 games before the bye. So got to back it up this week. Bears looking very scrappy and looked terrible last week. So at our best, we should give them a good belting here. But they're going to get up and be right in it with a tough game. So need this one. Hawks are going to be 0-4 over the last 4 games if coming into us in Tassie. So really need this one to keep our spot in the top 4 before the bye. Anyway, on to selections. Laird in, Draper out, we're off the sub. That's it. Thanks, guys.
Laird back in.
A Laird and Smith backline.
It's going to be wet, so it is possible Laird will come in, but I was like, I don't know how he gets back in because I thought Smith was really good.
I thought Smith was good, but I don't want to see them both there.
Well, who do they drop to put both of them in?
Can't happen. We just got told what they're doing.
Draper.
And Pedler is sub.
I mean, we do need enough. I don't know how. We need good defensive, smaller players because they've got so many good goal-kicking small forwards. So.
But that's not Laird, is it?
It could be Bond.
Yeah.
Well, it's certainly not Laird on Charlie Cameron.
Or Bailey.
It's hard because they both Brodie and Laird bring 2 different things. Brodie's so good with the rebound attack and also his kicking's elite. And
When he wants to.
He's kicked a goal in every game he's played so far. Whereas Laird, he's probably not kicking a goal. He's not the best kick forward. He is ground ball getter, and it's going to be a wet.
He gets a few
one.
surprise intercept marks as well, does Laird for
He does too. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to be tough selections this week, to be honest. But because that's the other thing. Nixie does love to go in unchanged when we've played a good game. So
we know. It would be Nick's style, and I'm not bagging him necessarily for this to bring Laird straight back in at the expense of a younger player. I hope that isn't the case. I don't know. Is Draper just incapable of running out a game? Is that why we're playing him the way we are?
Well, I don't know. There was all this talk at the start of the season about managing him with his back stuff, but I don't know. It's interesting. He has been a sub a lot. So
I'd love to see him play a full game and get him into some positions where he can show his strengths as well, because I feel like he's sort of coming in as sub and just being thrown into some, I don't know, he's getting caught a lot. He's just right in there, whereas I'd love to see him a little bit more outside.
Do you reckon they'll throw him in for the Richmond game?
Yeah, maybe.
I reckon they're probably just biding their time waiting for a little, maybe an easier game. Because, the next 2, we've got to win them, and we can't be throwing him in with the Brisbane midfield. You know what I mean?
Realistically, this isn't the season we need him to be a superstar. We need him to build for a couple of 2 to 3 years' time where he'll be one of the main parts of our midfield.
Yeah. I kind of feel that way about Charlie Edwards as well. And I know people were off it that he didn't get selected over Smithers, but I still think he came in as a midfielder. He's had that positional change to the half back. I feel like he's still learning the craft probably a little bit. He's obviously got things they want him to work on. I think it's really obviously great that he's getting such good numbers and stats in the SANFL, but that just means that he's on the right track. And hopefully by the end of the year he will pop up for a debut, and then next year he'll be it.
Yeah,
it's an interesting balance that we are now seemingly in a strong position where it's not as much of a focus on getting new players in, but you do need to still blood new players so that if we do get injuries, which we inevitably will, we've got enough players ready to go.
Yeah. So, that's the downside of just going in. I've always been pretty negative on Nix's going in unchanged attitude to things, but
this week is second versus third, so you'd probably want to put out your strongest possible team. So don't know.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. Oh dear. Yeah.
Miller and Tex both shouldn't be playing if it's going to be wet.
Don't agree with the Miller call, but Tex maybe. I don't know, because it's hard because Tex is he looks like he's slow. He looks like he's not doing much, but he is taking that third defender which is really handy for Filthy and Fog and also the rest of the Smolds. So
and I personally, like last year, we drew with Brisbane, but do we remember who absolutely dominated us in that game? Payne. Their defender who took so many marks because he didn't have anyone he had to really worry about.
Yeah, that's right.
At the moment, whether Tex is having a big game or a little game, Tex, Fog and Thilthorpe are keeping someone honest.
Yep.
And at the moment, we're not giving up that many intercept marks in our forward 50, whereas that was a real feature of our game last year. So, we dominated getting
very good at it.
Spotting up an opposition in our forward 50, we would hit them on the chest beautifully. So I don't think it's necessarily bad if we're not getting all our goals from our big guys, but if they're doing something to negate a turnover, like as we've said, turnover is such a source of scoring for teams. If we're not letting them get an easy mark, if worst case scenario we're getting the ball to ground and then 50-50 whether we go for a goal, I think that's a really positive thing. And we had the tall forward line in Sydney where it was really slippery. We still managed to score really well.
Yeah.
So,
the other thing is I'd prefer Tex be in the forward line rucking than Filthy doing it because that gives Filthy a chance to get his hands on the ball. He's way more agile on the ground than Tex is. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Selection's going to be interesting this week. But you're probably right. I think the general consensus is that we'll go in unchanged, and I wouldn't be surprised for sure. Yeah, but all right. Well, has anyone you got stats or anything, Ben?
a little bit.
Sorry, I was
go for it.
I'll try.
Take over.
I'll see. I'll see if I can be a little less underwhelming than last time. Sorry, with my stats, Sam.
Yeah,
we'll see
please,
how we go.
that'd be good.
So they're obviously second, 9 wins, 2 losses and a draw. They've lost to Collingwood, which is fair enough. They lost to Melbourne, which was a bit of a shock, and they drew to North, which was a fair old shock. So they have beaten some decent teams. Like they've beaten the Cats, they've beaten the Bulldogs, they've smashed the Hawks. So and in amongst then also playing some teams that aren't doing that well this year. So they've had a mixed draw. It doesn't seem to have been the hardest draw to date. Stats-wise, officially, an 8-point game.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
Definitely.
I'm up. Yep. I'll agree with that.
Great. They're first for kicks and first for marks. So the same as last year where they are happiest when they're kicking uncontested marks, slowly transitioning their way to their forward line.
But we won't let them do that.
That's what we've got to make sure that we don't, because first for marks, but they're only 14th for contested marks.
Yep.
So they're all about getting free and getting easy marks, not having to contest. That's why we need to get them down the line, and then we've got a collection of players now who can mess that up and potentially get a mark and turn it over and back we go. So that's how I feel like we're going to win. We're first for scores from turnover. They're 6th for scores from turnover. They're 6th for scores from stoppage. So they're pretty strong, but they're not like their stats don't show up as being the strongest team in the comp. But realistically, at any one moment, they could kick 7 goals in about 8 minutes. If they get a run on, they can get a real run on.
Yeah.
So that's where we're in strife. Just ask GWS in the prelim last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hugh McCluggage.
Oh,
Gun. Killing it.
Sawyer's in your team.
Yeah, I've had him for ages. I got him early, so I've been in the ups and downs. He's he's a roller coaster.
Worth talking about this week.
Yeah. Yes, we showed him as vice captain. Anyway, I don't even really know what to say about this game, to be honest. From a comments perspective, I think I just want to see us be. I just want to see that we have a plan and we can get close to them. I don't expect Demand to win. I hope we can, but as long as it's sort of a very competitive 2-3 goal sort of margin. I know that sounds pretty pathetic, but that's sort of how I'm feeling. I will certainly be more up and about if we can win it. We're a genuine top 4 chance, and who knows from there. It's like I said at the start of the season, everyone's sort of going around saying, maybe it's not our year, or our time will come in the next few years. But why? I don't think anyone's really. Collingwood looked fantastic, but no one's setting the world alight. I wouldn't have thought.
I reckon right now, the premiership window is obviously open wide, and I wouldn't be surprised if we're like in contention for a flag in the next, or if we get one in the next 3 years, if we can keep going how we're going. And I did send you a screenshot of a transcript from the podcast that we did after we beat Essendon, when I had gone back and done some very vague ladder predictions, and I did say to you that if we win, what was it? We even if we win 1 out of 3 of those games, it was GWS and Geelong, and the other one that we didn't win,
Gold Coast.
I said I still can see us being in the top 4 by the end of the bye, and we are currently in that, and it looks like we'll stay there if we can beat at least one of Brisbane or Hawks. So I was right. I was right.
Yeah, you also jinxed us by saying you bought your gold member ticket, didn't you?
Well, it was a good thing I did, because it looks like I might be going to the GM. Anyway, well, before we make our predictions for this week, let's go. I just wanted to, the fixture as it happens is Brisbane Hawks then a bye. Then we play Richmond, so potentially Draper comes in for that one. Also maybe Charlie Edwards, who knows. Then we play Melbourne. That's another game that perhaps Draper could have a full game. They're kind of going pretty shit. Actually, they've been not too bad the last couple of weeks, but they are 12th still. Then we play the Dogs at Marvel. That's going to be a full-strength side. Then the Suns again at home, which I think we can probably win this time. Then we've got the Showdown. I think that's a guaranteed win. Then we play the Hawks again. That seems like so quick, but that's also at home. Then we've got the Eagles, then Collingwood, then North Melbourne. So we've got probably 4 games there where Sid Draper can probably play a full game, and maybe we get a couple of debutants.
I'm feeling uncomfortable about calling Showdowns guaranteed wins.
Well, Port really do stink. So
hasn't mattered in years past.
All right, Ben. Well, if you don't want to have faith in the Crows, that's fine by me.
I think that's a misrepresentation of what I just said.
Who do you predict will win this week, Ben?
Well, if we can do the things that I said we needed to do, I think we're in with a good show. We should have a lot of confidence. It's looking like it's going to be slippery again, and I think our form hasn't been that bad. We were within 10 points of Collingwood in the rain. We've just smashed Sydney in the rain. We beat GWS when it was a bit slippery. So I'm going to maybe regret it, but I'm going to go with a 19-point win.
19 points. Yeah, I'm going to say 25-point win.
Brisbane by 12 points.
Ooh.
I absolutely think we can win.
We've actually been really close to Brisbane the last few years, which has been surprising.
We drew with them in their premiership year.
And when we were really shit, I remember we got very close to them as well. There was a year there during the terrible periods where we got very close to them. So, yeah.
Maybe the slippery conditions will work in our favour if they can't get it. Lots of easy, cheap, uncontested, clean kicks and marks. That might make their game style a little bit harder to play, hopefully.
My fear is that they probably got enough talent there to switch things up if need be.
Well, yeah, they've got enough talent to, if they all click and everything goes right, we could be in a bit of strife.
Yeah.
But hopefully we keep the pressure on and they don't get a chance to get everything right. And Michael Annie on Charlie Cameron will be very important.
Yes.
He's done the role multiple times. I think the last couple of times he's been pretty good. Probably few times before that Charlie got the better of him, but he's definitely come along, so it will be interesting, that's for sure.
Did you want a Dennis?
Yes, please.
Just say it.
Don't want to just reach slightly to
I don't know where it is on your
right. All right,
Here's the kick to Dennis.
If you're going to be like that, well, I'll just give you it's a perennial.
I'm Mark Ricciuto, and here we crow.
No, it's not going to be Ricciuto.
Give the kick to Dennis.
So we're right behind him, and the Carlton fans are right behind him. Once, twice, 3 times.
Oh, look at that.
Yes! He's the master blaster.
So he's been it in the past. He'll be it in the future. I'm going to give it to Long Nadal.
In the wet.
Yep. He's going to find a way.
Wowee.
We are good at giving free kicks that result in goals.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
True.
Okay.
Well, it's going to be a fantastic game, and I implore you to get down, even though it's going to be wet, because
there'll be a crowd.
we've had a bit of a hot tip that the pre-game is going to be epic.
Careful, Lauren.
So I'd get down there and get there early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can't
Very
wait.
special.
It's going to be special. Special night. Well, it's our first night game for fucking ages.
Yeah.
Is that actually our first home night game that isn't gather round?
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah, we don't have to go on a Sunday afternoon.
No.
How about that?
They might ruin our whole weekend right at the start.
Speaking
Yeah,
of which,
that's
the
right.
old AFLW, geez, we get a few Sunday afternoons for that too.
Oof. Yeah.
I didn't really look at that fixture properly, to be honest, but
There's
we
a lot
don't
of-
actually play at home for like 3 rounds or something like
Not
that.
sure. Yeah, it's got a lot of Sundays. Instead of starting it, we finish. I think it's round 11. We play the showdown instead of the first round,
Yeah.
which is probably a better idea than starting fresh.
And did you guys see the video that the Crows made to announce the fixture with
it was quite good.
family of the pod, Hallie and Maddie?
Yeah.
Very good work, girls.
was
Love
good.
it.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, go check it out.
Shh, Jad. Stop telling everybody what's happening.
All right, guys. It was very nice to talk to you all. Thanks for everyone joining us in the chat, and a few new names in there. I
Yeah, I
saw
love the
tonight.
new names. Thanks,
Maybe, are these
guys.
Crowcast people that didn't get enough negativity from Crowcast last night, and they thought they'd jump on
They come
board
to the
today?
wrong place.
Yeah.
There's only one of the negative people
Yeah.
here.
And I wouldn't allow it. Not tonight.
Tony and Trevor. I know Tony's been kicking around on our podcast for a while. Trevor's new though. That was good to see. Nice to see.
Yeah, there was another name in there I saw.
Blade.
too. Blade. Well,
Blade.
thanks
Matty
for,
Crouch fan club.
thanks for
guys.
joining us, people. Come
Yeah, it was good.
anytime.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear from you. Okay, well, enjoy the game this weekend, guys, and hopefully we'll be back next week with some celebrations and more air horn. Enjoy the weekend. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.